Among the bunch of productivity hacks that I've tried and tested, the one that always works for me is to have a clean and functional desk. And being a firm believer in minimalism, I have made sure that my desk setup reflects that too. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I am Blesson. I'm a logo and visual identity designer. And on this channel, I share my journey as a freelancer as well as share my design process and tutorials. So today I'll be sharing my minimal and fairly budget desk setup that I use as my main workspace for all the client work. I'll be breaking down everything from the desk and the essentials and add-ons that I use on my desk, as well as I'll also try to link the products that are useful in the description below. So let's get started. The goal behind this setup was to make it minimal, simple, yet functional. I have gone for a white, black aesthetic with a touch of greens and browns here and there to add some dynamics to it. So the desk that I use is a custom-built, locally made, all matte black 6x3 feet desk. I purposely wanted a wider table because that gives me a lot of space to work on things that I would like to, as well as keeping the aesthetic minimal and organized and clean. Now moving on to the main machine that I work on, I use a 16-inch MacBook Pro 2019 maxed out at an i9 processor with 16 gigs of RAM with a 1 TB of Fusion drive. Now, having a powerful machine helps me to have a faster and smoother workflow, as well as the integrated Apple ecosystem makes things just more efficient. The laptop is then plugged into a 27-inch Dell monitor that is clamped on a wall. The monitor is a basic one and it's not at all recommended for designing because of its lack of color accuracy, but I just use it for a bigger display and I do all my color sensitive work in my MacBook because of its beautiful Retina display. Now moving on to the other hardware, the mouse of my choice is the Logitech MX Master 2, which I think is the best mouse I've ever used because of its comfort, function and ease of customization. The extra buttons makes it even more worth it as it can be mapped to literally anything and it is way more comfortable than my previous Magic Mouse. So I would highly recommend it to any designer who spends a lot of time on your workspace, who spends a lot of time with mouse and who spends a lot of time editing and things like that. I highly recommend it for those who spend a lot of time on computers. The one thing that I hate about desk setups is having ugly cable managements. I just can't stand having the cables lying around and ruining the aesthetic. I know it's a bit too much, but the inner me that's a wannabe minimalist can never really take the cables lying around with the ugly mesh of wires. I just can't really take it. And to fix this, I have just one Type-C cable going out of my laptop, which is then connected to a USB-C hub, which houses all my connectors like HDMI, Ethernet cable, the charging cable, and the USB dongle for the mouse. This makes the setup look way more cleaner and minimal. I also have these small wire holders which are sticked on the back of my table that holds the wires in place and makes it even more organized. Talking of organizing, the two cables that go from my monitor is also hidden with a DIY PVC pipe, which is literally just hanged on the back of my monitor, and it also holds the Wipro smart bulb to add some ambient light whenever needed. Being a freelancer, I often take short breaks while I'm working. I'm not the one who works for just straight up 3 hours, but I'm the one who will work for an hour and then take probably a 10 to 15 minutes break and then get back on work. And one of my best ways to unwind and to do something during that short break is reading. And the two essential things that's always on my desk right next to my laptop is my Bible and the Kindle Paperwhite. I often take short breaks where I either, read and meditate on a Bible portion or read on my Kindle, which is my preferred way of reading. And I feel like reading really helps me unwind, reading really gets me into a different perspective. And it is one of the best ways to take breaks as well as use that break productively and use that break to not just waste your time, but do something that's more efficient and productive. Being a designer, the other essential that I always have is a sketchbook with me. Having a sketchbook always by your side helps to act on your ideas as quick as possible. And I use a dot grid sketchbook, which is more helpful for my style of geometric logo designs. I've also been testing this small size sketchbook for the sake of portability, and so far they've been working well. I'll link them down in the description. If you'd like to check it out, you can go ahead. Talking about the chair that I use is a basic office chair from Amazon. It's not the best, but it's fairly comfortable and I've never had complaints of back pains. It's fairly cheap and it just gets the work done, so I'm really happy with it. As I mentioned earlier, having a clean and minimal desk setup really helps me to get in the mood of work and really helps me focus on the stuff that I want to do. Now, that being said, the desk setups are always evolving and I always keep changing things here and there, few things that work and few things that doesn't work. So that's pretty much what my main workspace looks like, and this is where I spend most of my time working on client projects and freelance projects. But I also have a secondary workspace, a secondary desk setup that I've recently evolved solely for live streaming. By the way, I have live streaming happening regularly on my channel, so you can check out the previous live streams on my channel. So I have recently developed this desk setup which is separated from the main workspace. It's in the same room but with a different vibe, so that I can keep experimenting with few different setups and scenarios. So just let me know, drop them down in the comments below if you'd like to see a video on my live streaming and content creation setup. I would love to share my process of content creation as well, so let me know if you'd like to see the video. Drop it down in the comments below. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it and let me know what you think about it, as well as share your thoughts on what type of videos you would like to see more on this channel. I would really love to have your opinions and work on them, as well as if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, as I'll be regularly uploading videos on this channel from now on. Alright, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon on the next one. Peace.